All right, guys, so moving right along, just gonna have a quick word from our sponsor. That's me. I'm the sponsor of this YouTube channel. As much as I would love to have a real sponsor, I do not. But anyway, guys, make sure, don't ever listen to anyone that says you could build one of these trucks on a budget. It's an absolute lie. Everything you buy costs a ton of money. Yes, fabricating and doing all the work yourself saves a ton of money also, but just between the tank, the sending unit, a new fuel pump in the front, running the lines, this part of the project alone is probably going to cost about $1,000. There's just no way around it. So factor that in before you start. It stinks to start a project and then kind of like run out of money and then have it sitting. But what I like to do, this is an absolutely gigantic project, guys. So I try to break it down into sections. Obviously, like I'm doing back frame and gas tank now, includes fuel pump, fuel lines, but I probably won't show that. It's pretty boring stuff. Then after this, I'm gonna get to the fun stuff. I'm gonna start putting the rear axle in, setting the drums, setting the new leaf springs, making up my mounts and everything like that. That's gonna be one of the best videos for this truck, I believe. But back on topic, just set your budget, try to stick to it, but realize that you're not doing any of this on a low budget. I got the back cross member just C-clamped in place for now. The only thing I'm doing to this tank is it had these flanges bent up for the straps here. I'm going a little bit different route. I'm going to just use the linesman pliers, and I'm bending the flanges down. If you can see on this one, it's kind of hard to do with one hand, but you guys get the idea. I'm gonna bend it down flat, do a little hammer and dollying work, and then I'm going to probably bring this down underneath the edge of here, and then put 2 brackets on the back side for the straps. All right, guys, let's see how we're gonna use the hammer and dolly right now. All right, that's good enough, guys. As you can see, or maybe not see, but I think you can. It's pretty much flat. It's also gonna get pulled up against the frame rail, which is much heavier gauge steel. I'm probably gonna hit this with a little undercoat. I might even undercoat the whole tank, I'm not sure. I'm not loving the gray. I'm thinking black undercoat. It'll kind of disappear under there, which is what I want. And then maybe just a little rubber strip around here, just the top. Pull it up nice and tight, put the straps on. All that done. All right, coming along pretty good, guys. I got it pretty much straight, as good as I could get it. This is gonna come up, pull against there, and obviously the straps are gonna go down underneath. And then for this side, found this piece of square tubing. Just gonna cut it to fit, and then I'm gonna pull this underneath the bottom of that. All right, so this angle might give you a better idea. Well, I shouldn't say angle really, but this setup should give you a better idea. I got the little maybe 1.5 by 1.5 square tubing in there, and I have it C-clamped to the tank in the front. I could adjust this height right now because I don't have it welded in. This is just for mock-up. I'm gonna grind the paint off the C-channel, obviously, grind the paint off the cross member. And then in the back here, I still have to raise up this C-channel. So I'll probably raise this up, get some tacks on it, get that set in place first, and then I'll kind of level out the tank as best I can. Doesn't look horrible there. It's maybe up just a hair on the front, but this frame rail slants up just a little bit in the back, so the tank is actually probably level as it is. All right, guys, so I decided to take the original sending unit out of my tank. Now, this truck had a left side saddle only. So obviously these lines run in the right side direction. This one was working. It just was giving me like a weird reading on the gas gauge. When I filled it up, I think it read full, but then it would only go down to like half and kind of stick there. I don't know, mechanically it looks fine. I can't see anything wrong with it. Maybe it's just something in the windings for the rheostat or whatever inside here. Not really sure. I would love to reuse this one because it's an original General Motors part. But I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna put it on the shelf and I'm just gonna order a new one. I've been reading some of the forums and I think I'm gonna go with this Spectra brand. Guys, you know, say pretty good things about it. And I'm gonna order the same one I have because as you guys saw when I put it in here, see if I could do this again, one-handed. Hold a minute. All right, sorry about that, guys. Obviously not a cameraman. You can see the slot right here lines up with this little cutout. And kind of allows it to drop in like that. And I like the angle that these are going. Looks like it does have another cutout on this side, so I probably could do it in either direction, but I don't want it to come this way. So my lines on this truck are on the right. I'm just gonna, you know, get some steel gas line and some rubber hose and just come straight down inside the frame rail and then jump up on top of the tank and tie into the sending unit. All right, so I left the old sending unit in for now. I just put the twist lock on there. I figured that's gonna keep out any you know, dust and debris, dirt, grinding dust especially, or anything from when I weld. I'm getting ready to weld in these cross members, guys. My lot at my house, unfortunately, is slanted down a little bit to the left for water runoff. It's kind of hard to tell if you're looking at the truck, especially on camera. But because of that, I can't really use a level on anything. So I came up with this idea. I'm going to use this little digital angle finder. I don't really give plugs to manufacturers because they don't sponsor me, but you obviously could see the name. I'm gonna check every cross member and roughly get the degrees of the angle. So I'm like 3 degrees slant on the cross member. So we'll just say that that's my driveway. Let's check this one back here. Okay, 2.8. So that's pretty much close. The one I'm installing, 2.9. It's kind of in the middle, close to the middle. And then if I could fit back here, my last cross member is 3.2. This one I still have a lot of adjustment here. I have the C-clamps, so I'll probably just give it a couple taps with a hammer, try to get it as close to 3 as I can, and then I'm gonna weld those in. All right, so I'm trying to get this as level as I can, or at least match the other cross members, guys. They're at a 4.2 degree angle. I'm only 1.6 right now. So what I did was I clamped this C-clamp over here, and I hope you guys could see this. I'm just gonna pull the C-clamp forward till I get to roughly 4.2, and then I'm gonna tack weld it in place. All right, that's as good as it gets right there, guys. One tack over there, one tack over there. I'm just gonna put a couple tacks around the sides and we'll call that one done, and I'm gonna jump to the back cross member. All right, I got these burned in. Definitely good enough for what we're doing here. I found this angle iron that is pretty cool. It's longer on this side than it is this one, so it'll give me a little bit of extra height. I'm gonna cut these into sections. I need 4 of them. And I'm gonna drill my 4 holes. This is gonna be from my retaining straps for the gas tank. These will be cut, drilled, and then they'll be welded onto the back C-channel cross member, and they'll be welded onto this 1.5 by 1.5 cross member in the front. And then hopefully by having this little bit of extra height, I should be able to fall somewhere in the middle of the adjustment on this nut here and get the gas tank nice and tight. All right, guys, we got the brackets cut. I'm gonna go bring them inside on the drill press and I'll bore my holes. I'm gonna measure this, probably a 1/2 inch hole would be good. Obviously that's probably metric, but I think 1/2 inch will give me a little wiggle room. I like using this little Makita with these super thin cutoff discs for this, guys. You know, I have a million grinders, but I save the other ones for the heavy duty cutting. For something like this where I want a nice precise cut, I tend to go to this little guy. I stay away from, I have cordless DeWalt and Milwaukee grinders, drills, etc. The grinders absolutely suck for what I'm doing here. The batteries just never last, even when they're brand new. So I stick with corded, as you guys can see. All right, guys, so I decided to use the Bridgeport instead. I have this adjustable Albright, I think you call it, chuck, which I absolutely love. I'm gonna see if I could just go directly to the 1/2 inch drill bit. You know, with the clamping force I have in the vise and the Bridgeport itself, I think I should be able to do it. Now my other problem is I want to set all 4 across in the vise, you know, as even as I can. Mark my spot, and then it's nice and easy because I could just move the table and I could stay directly in line from one bracket to the next. My problem is I don't want to be this close to the vise. So what you do is you take a parallel, and I'm just going to slide the parallel underneath all of them. It's thinner than the thickness of the brackets themselves, so it's just going to hold the height where I want it, and then the parallels themselves will be sticking up and I'll have room to drill them. All right, guys, so I went with 11:30 seconds. I mic'd it and it was actually a decent amount under a 1/2 inch, so this is what I chose. And like I said, put it in the chuck and we'll give it a rip. Alright guys, that sounds absolutely awful, and I'm gonna go get some cutting fluid. Should go much better. Alright, they went like absolute butter, guys. Just gonna pull these off, I'll deburr them a little bit, and we'll see about fitting them up on the truck. So hopefully this clears up what I'm trying to do here, guys. Here's the bracket. I just cleaned it up a little bit. It's gonna mount something like that, and oh god, hang on, guys. All right, so just like that, that'll go over, and then that'll go just like that, and that's gonna just pull the tank up nice and flush against the C channel and the cross member in the front. So this is what I'm going with, guys. Looks pretty good. Actually was able to get this just about flush with the bottom and just left a little room for some weld down there. Have it just tacked in for now, obviously. Coming down underneath. Nice and flat all the way across the bottom. And then come up. I just have to work on the bend on the front slightly. But I was able to get this guy fully on the cross member also, which I'm pretty happy about, and just have to get a little more bend into it to get that nut to sit flush. Then once I get it all welded in, I'll come back and I'll put the rubber around the straps, and we'll call that done. All right, next step, guys. I was gonna make kind of like 45s in here, just to give the frame like a nice look to it and kind of step it up a little bit. But I have to put the wood slats in here, the oak wood for the bed. So I'm just gonna leave this square. I got this capped off, pretty strong. I had to do the other one. I'm still gonna do this side because it's not gonna interfere with anything, and I think it'll give these end pieces a lot of strength. Nothing crazy here, just like 1/4 inch pieces of steel. I just cut 2 triangles, have a little bit of a gap right there. I'm gonna weld it inside and out, weld the top, and weld this piece, and then weld the bottom. All right, I burned the top in, guys. I'm using a Dan Mig 220 welder. It's 200 amp, 220 or 247 volt I have in my house. I have a really long duty cycle on this, guys. So I could do a pass like this. Some of you guys, if you have smaller welders, who gives a shit? If you gotta stop, do it in 2 passes. Really doesn't matter. Once this is painted, no one will ever see this again. Up here, you can see my welds aren't so great. Down here, they came out really good. Over here, I think I just didn't clean the metal good enough. You know, like back in the day, I'd probably grind this out and redo it and make it perfect. Nowadays, I don't give a shit. We're just getting it done. All right, guys, we have amazing Ashley on the job here. She's in full concentration.
Yeah, don't fuck me up.
Oh, can't let the kids watch this one now. Looking good, babe. We're doing a flat black primer and then high gloss oil base on top. And then I'll bolt the tank in. All right, ladies and gents in YouTube land, Ashley and Yaya have finished up the frame. If you guys remember from a few videos back, we did like a rust converter on the front part of the frame, and then we did a coat of oil-based black. This back half, as I just showed you guys, we primered it in flat black, and then she did a coat, first coat oil, and then a second coat over the entire frame. And I gotta say, the thing is looking like brand new. Fortunately, I have a little bit of pitting here on the back side of the frame, both rails. This was under some wood, and the wood probably got some water in it over the years. The rest of the frame looks pretty good. It's like showroom mint for what I'm doing. But anyway, I'm gonna try to get the tank mounted in today, basically just to get some videos done. Have this old inner tube from my XR200 that I saved, because as you guys probably know by now, I'm a hoarder. And I say, oh wait, did I say hoarder? I meant collector. Yes, collector it is. I'm gonna try to cut it right here on both sides of the stem, cut it on this side, and then I'm gonna use this as my rubber for the straps. I'll kind of just try to fish it through as best I can, Hopefully it'll kind of reach from both, you know, curves on the ends here where it rubs up on the tank. All right, so they definitely did cut. I just had to use 2 hands and, you know, took some work. But for those of you that always wonder where tire slime goes, or if it really sits inside the tube or rim, this is a nice little experiment here. So you guys will know once and for all that it stays in there. It's still very gooey, which I guess in theory means if the puncture is small enough, this stuff will eventually work its way into the hole. I've had some great luck with it in the past. Obviously I try to, you know, do as much as I can before resorting to this. In this case, I just needed a new tube. It had a cut in it, so couldn't really do much for this. But for tires, if they just have a slow leak around a bead or around the valve stem, stuff seems to work wonders. All right, guys, we got the tank in for now. Last thing I'm waiting on is 1/4 inch and 3/8 fuel lines. I'm just gonna run them like this, down, jump into the frame rail, down into the original frame, and I'll connect them under the cab. That's should be easy. I got the new sending unit coming at some point, and like I said before, I was gonna undercoat this tank black, but I think it's starting to grow on me being the gray, especially with the high gloss black on the frame. Gives it a pretty cool offset. I might just spray it with something a little more durable. Not even sure if this is paint or primer. I see anything I touch it on, it seems to take the paint off. The only mods I did were I added nuts on the bottom here. I'm gonna adjust these till the straps are pulling up nice and tight on the tank, and then I'm gonna lock them with this bolt below, nut below, excuse me. Got the inner tubes on. I don't necessarily love them, guys, but for now they're good enough. I might buy the actual rubber stripping, and then what I'll do is I'll cut this up and I'll fit this in between the tank and the frame, just so I don't have any chafing there. But other than that, this part of the build is done, and I'm gonna start on this axle next. Got to get the engine hoist moved over, put some chains on that axle, pull it out, and then try to slide it underneath this frame and see how it fits right in that spot. Trying to get the pumpkin to come up right in here. Hopefully I got plenty of clearance.